I have another guest video for you today, and this time you're going to learn how to record layered vocals to get that really thick and wide sound. So let me hand you over to Jake, who is a professional mixer who specializes in rock music. Jake now has over 1,400 tracks under his belt, which is crazy. So take it away, Jake.
What is up? This is Jake from Pro Music Go. A huge thank you to Rob for having me on the channel. Musician on a mission actually inspired me to create my own channel where I mainly teach mixing, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about recording giant layered vocals. So in this video, I'm going to show you a few techniques that help me get my vocals sounding humongous, epic, and thick. Let's do this. Okay, so tip number one is to double track your vocals and then hard pan them. Okay, and this is for leads, right? You just re-record exactly what you recorded for your lead vocals, and I'm going to show you an example here. And hard pan them left and right. So let's take a listen to our chorus section here. This up here, these are our lead vocals. I've got them grouped together in a folder in Logic. If you're not using Logic, you would probably bounce these together or bust them. But then we've got our double-tracked vocals down here, and I've got this one panned hard left, and I've got this one here panned hard right. Let's first take a listen to the chorus, see what we're working with.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you. I'm inspired, and just a little crazy, but maybe crazy is all it takes.
Okay, so awesome. Nice big kind of anthemic chorus. We've got some nice thick vocals going on there. Let's take a listen to these in isolation.
I'm on fire.
Right, so we've got our lead vocal right up the center.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you.
Then you record the same exact part on the left and the right. Let's just listen to the left and the right.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you.
Super cool. All together.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you.
Super thick. Really nice big effect, especially for a chorus there, right? So let's just listen to it all in context.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you.
And really pay attention to that left and the right.
I'm on fire, and jealousy don't look so good on you.
Really just kind of pushes that vocal right up in your face, makes it larger than life, super thick, super epic, awesome. So tip number two is to double track and hard pan harmony parts. We just talked about tracking your lead parts, and there are 3 different takes. We've got our lead take, we've got our left take, and we've got our right take, but they're 3 different takes of the same part. Now we're talking about adding harmonies and approaching that the same way. So first let's listen to see what we're working with.
And no, I won't apologize, and no, I won't pretend. And instead of laying down, I choose to dance, cause I know exactly who I am.
Okay, so let's dissect this a little bit. We're going to head down to our harmony parts. These are our harmony tracks right here. Same thing. We've got a hard pan to the left, and we've got a hard pan to the right. Okay, here's our lead. Let's solo it.
And no, I won't apologize, and no, I won't pretend.
Cool. So let's bring in our harmonies. We've got this one on the left.
And no, I won't apologize.
Same with this one.
And no, I won't apologize.
On the right, okay? Same exact part, just tracked twice. One pan to the left, one pan to the right. Hear them all together.
And no, I won't apologize.
Okay, just spreads them out to the sides and leaves space in the center for our lead vocals to pop through and creates this really big kind of chorusy effect. Okay, so tip number 1, double track and hard pan your lead vocals for some extra thickness. Tip number 2, double track and hard pan your harmonies. And tip number 3 is to quad track for an even bigger sound. Let's continue just layering tracks, okay? Just piling tracks on top of one another. You're starting to get the idea. So let's head over to a section that's got some really thick layered vocal parts in here. Okay, first let's take a listen to what we got.
No one can bring me down.
Okay, so pretty cool. We've got kind of like this choir going on in the background, hence the name choir, PC, that's for pre-chorus. It leads right into this chorus section. And let's dissect this a little bit to see what we've got. I'm just going to mute the lead vocals so we can just focus on this choir part. Super cool. So those are 3 different harmonies, right? So when you think of 3-part harmonies, you automatically kind of think of 3 voices, right? One maybe singing the root, one maybe singing the third, and one maybe singing the fifth. But as an engineer and a producer, in my head, I'm thinking, my first part, I'm going to track 4 times. My second part, I'm going to track 4 times. My third part, I'm going to track 4 times, so on and so forth. So with every part, I'm going to take down and capture 4 vocals, and I'm going to hard pan them left and right like we talked about in the previous techniques. So let's take a look at this. Our high vocals first. Okay, recorded those and then double tracked them. Okay, and each one of these is a different take. I'm not just duplicating the track over and over again, right? I'm actually recording this part and then going back, recording this part, going back, recording this. So let's take a listen and add in our quad track so you can see what kind of effect that has. Okay, and just kind of beefs it up and makes it a little bit thicker. There are more voices involved. And the only drawback to this technique is that you start to get, the sound starts to become a little bit more mushy. Okay, it starts to become less defined. And that can actually push the part further back in the mix. So it's kind of a balance. If you want that more massive, like bigger sound, then it's really the distance and the layers that kind of make it feel that way and make it feel really huge. So let's move on and take a listen to some of these other parts here. We've got our mid part. Again, panned hard left and right. And then we've got a low part. So those are our double tracks. Okay, so let's listen to all 3 of those together, and then I'm going to bring in the quad tracks, the second pairs of each of these parts, so that you can hear how much bigger it sounds once we just start to pile layers on. Okay, way thick and super, super cool. So another example, I want to head over to a section that's got some gang vocals in it. And then we're going to talk about a few techniques over there. So here are our gang vocals. Let's first listen in context to see what we're working with.
Guess what I'm gonna do now? Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, let's dissect this a little bit. Let's jump in. Now, we're still talking about quad tracking here. Let's just isolate the first pair of these so you can hear what's going on, and then we'll pop in the second pair.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, now let's make it thicker.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Awesome. Okay, huge difference having 4 voices over the 2. So something to keep in mind if you're going for this kind of sound is it's important that you record different voices. Okay, variety is key here because it's the blending of those different kind of vocal textures that create some really magical and unique shit. So think about it. If you're actually recording a giant choir, you'd have a ton of different voices, each with its own unique characteristics, okay? You're gonna have men, you're gonna have women, you might have boys and girls. If you want that same kind of effect, but you don't have an actual choir to record, you gotta be creative. So if you're able to have the vocalist shift their voice, maybe create some different type of voices, right? And experiment with opening and closing their throat a little bit, or have another singer track some of these parts, okay? Major bonus points for that. So here's an example. We're gonna pop in a pair of Gang 2 vocals. And I think these are in different voices, if I'm remembering correctly.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, yeah, cool. So our original vocals are here,
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
and then we've got a little bit of a different kind of voice or different kind of texture.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, now we're starting to hear a gang. Now we're starting to hear like a whole bunch of different people. Super cool. So we've got this Kermit one here too. Let's take a listen to that.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Now you can hear why I called it a Kermit vocal, because we've got kind of this lump in the back of our throat that we're using, and it sounds kind of funny on its own, right? But once we layer it in,
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
now adding the Kermit vocal.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, adds a little bit of something, adds a little magic. Let's add in, let's see what this looks like, this high vocal.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, so that's super cute. Now let's listen to it in context. First, without our high vocals.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Now with.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, now we've got 8 voices. We've got 4 of them panned hard left. We've got 4 of them panned hard right. And this is all created just using one person, right? So that's tip number 4, is trying to create different voices and recording maybe different singers to create a little bit of extra texture and some flavor to your epic layered vocals. So tip number 5 is to record at different distances. Okay, so why would you want to do that? Because capturing the natural acoustics of the room can help create more space and make things seem even bigger. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'm gonna go ahead and solo 2 of our gang vocals labeled far left and far right. Let's hear how those sound.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, there's some distance built into the track there.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
That's up front, and now further away.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
Okay, so for this track, I actually just stepped back from the microphone like 6 feet. Okay, super, super easy to do. And I've got, even these Kermit vocals are a little bit further. I think these are maybe 3 feet away.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
So we're still kind of capturing the early reflections of the room and building that distance and that space right into your tracks. Okay, same thing with this high part.
Whatever I want, whatever I want to.
Okay, very distant compared to our upfront high parts.
Whatever I want, whatever I want to.
I think that one might have been a little bit closer, maybe 2 feet, 3 feet away from the mic. And these, again, probably about 6 feet.
Whatever I want, whatever I want to.
And you can really hear the early reflections of the room there. So let's take a listen to those in context and see what kind of flavor that adds to our track to make things a little bit bigger. First without, here we go.
Whatever I want, whenever I want to. Whatever I want, whenever I want to.
So you can hear how much bigger this actually sounds, and you'll be able to make this these kind of tracks, gang vocals, layered vocals, even bigger in your mixing process. But I think it's just kind of fun to build these kind of spacious kind of vocals into your recordings, right? And just kind of committing to them and committing to that big spacious sound right up front in the tracking process. So you can do this same exact thing. Just step back from your mic like 3 feet, step back 6 feet, try recording a few takes on the other side of your room. Okay, the more room acoustics that you pick up here, the better. Actually, it just creates that space. Okay. Or you can always just skip this part if you're not comfortable with committing to it right in the tracking process. You can just skip this part altogether and create some fake space during the mixing process using reverbs or delays, which you can learn more about in today's free download. And if you already follow my channel, you know all about the Mix Engineer's Ultimate Reference Guide. You download it, you keep it handy while you're mixing. It's your complete go-to handbook. I included mixing mindset techniques, info on sound selection, frequencies, EQ, compression, spatial processing, and even checklists to help keep you focused for every single mix. Just head to promusicgo.com to download it completely free. Again, thank you so much, Rob, for having me on the channel. You are super cool. And thank you, Musicians on a Mission. That's all for today. And remember, create regardless. See ya!